Most sex workers are about 2 steps away from complete financial ruin at any time.
Sex workers have a money problem. Financial firms have over a 1,600-page list of people they block payments from for various reasons.
I have been shut down on PayPal, Square Cash, Cash App, Circle, 2 bank accounts, a credit union.
Every big bank has shut down sex workers' accounts without reason.
It's like Mastercard comes up with what is allowed and is not allowed on the internet. That doesn't really make sense.
My bank sent me an email. I had violated their ethics clause, and it pretty much was an email saying that they were closing my account. I never bounced a check. I never had an overdraft, for that matter. You're choosing to close my account down. That's always something to worry about, those things called ethics clause. They have the right to tell you that even though what you're doing is legal because they don't like it, that your money's no good there.
It stinks.
Well, you know, we happen to be one of few that have been covering stories like this. And, you know, one thing about right here at Man Man Show, we've covered a lot about the sex workers, adult sites, porn sites, age verification programs, you know, that are trying to push upon, you know, the general public. We've also discussed another thing that's coming back up again, and that is discrimination. Yes, there has been discrimination in the industry as far as sex workers and adult sites. And that, as far as what we've covered, people have gotten their accounts canceled, bank accounts, mind you, for the jobs they hold, for the politics they believe in, for being a particular, say, for example, a particular news person that, you know, have written articles on challenging some of the current government's stance on certain subjects. And that is really a violation of the Constitution, is a violation of laws, you know, consumer laws, which, you know, the Federal Trade Commission needs to come in. And finally, for this video, the ACLU is now chiming in on this. So we're going to go over what the ACLU wants out of the FTC.
When everything breaks at the seams, and you feel like you're losing belief. Well, damn it, you just gotta stay strong. When it all falls apart and goes wrong, when you feel let down and so lost, and it feels like you can't hold on. Well, damn it, you just gotta stay strong. 'Cause sometimes things go wrong, and one day everything's gone, but you can make it out and move on. So damn it, you just gotta stay strong.
The American Civil Liberties Union, their job is to protect your liberties, which they really haven't been. They've been very political in how they're handling, but they've got, here is where we've gotten to the point where they needed to step in on this. This is something that can't be brushed aside. You have a company like Mastercard out there that is discriminating against sex workers, adult sites, and many other people, even content creators. You know, we've had situations with PayPal, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. You know, and the thing about it is that a lot of these sex workers and adult sites that have these accounts are legitimate companies. And you say to yourself, well, how's prostitution? There are many videos out. Hulu has a couple of videos out now about sex workers. I would tell you, go check it out, because you wouldn't believe some of the legitimate groups that are out there. There's some that are legitimate, and some of them that ride the rails of the law, depending on what state they're in, which that's understandable. But the thing about it is, they're trying to be legitimate, and the government and the banking institutes are not allowing them to be, because of their, and not because of the law, but because of their own political views. Well, let's read this off of XBiz. ACLU asks the Federal Trade Commission to investigate Mastercard for discriminating against sex workers and adult sites. This particular article came out in at the end of August. In fact, we were on vacation, we didn't get a chance to cover this. So we're covering it now, which is just as important as it was when it came out. The American Civil Liberties Union, this was back at the end of August, filed a formal complaint asking the Federal Trade Commission to investigate Mastercard for discriminatory practices against sex workers and adult content websites. The ACLU filed a complaint along with a sex worker collective, Hacking Hustle, and a collection of sex worker-led anti-trafficking and LGBTQ organizations. The ACLU-led coalition of organizations and advocates expressed its opposition to Mastercard's 2021 policies for adult content websites using its credit card or payment options, and urged the FTC to open an investigation and put an end to these discriminatory and dangerous practices, the ACLU announced through a statement. Mastercard's policies imposed requirements such as pre-approval of all content before publication, forbidding certain such search terms, and keeping the records of age and identity verifications for all of its performers, not only restricting free speech and harm the livelihood of sex workers, but failed to make adult content platforms safer. The ACLU asserted, also emphasizing the harm such practices pose for Black, immigrant, and transgender sex workers especially. No, this is all workers. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. You know, one thing about the adult sex worker industry, whether it's pornography, whether it's content, it's very diverse. It's super diverse on to there. Reading on, as XBiz has been reporting, Mastercard's policies change was the result of pressure from the ad hoc alliances of self-appointed finance sector activists like controversial billionaire Bill Ackerman, religious-motivated anti-porn groups, crusaders such as NOSC, or as I call them, Morality in Media, Exodus Cry, and Lila Mickelwald, and their spokespersons and backers in the mainstream press, such as Nicholas Kristof and his New York Times opinion section editors. Now, the thing about it is, before we read on any more further, you know, these people, they have the opinion. If they don't like porn and stuff like that, they don't have the right to freaking attack business partners and say, listen, we're gonna take you down if you don't get rid of this particular company. Think about that for a minute. Don't think about it as pornography or as sex workers. Think about it as if it's your company, if you are a conservative, and basically you're opening just a basic company, nothing to do with sex or content or anything like that. But you know, you may have a newspaper company, you might have a clothing line, and these people will tell MasterCard, don't deal business with them. You may think that's going way over the line. No, this, if you do it for one, you could do it for others. That is the thought processes, and this is why the ACLU has moved into this situation. Adult content, the ACLU noted, is constitutionally protected speech under the First Amendment. I will repeat myself. Adult content, the ACLU noted, is constitutionally protected speech under the First Amendment. As our complaint expands, Mastercard's vague and ambiguously policy requirements, coupled with the dangerous combination of platform over compliance, inadequate automated tools, has led to the vast censorship of the entire lawful category of speech. The organization's statement continued. The ACLU also pointed out that Mastercard's discriminatory payment policy has forced sex workers into an arduous and often impossible mazes of verification and regulation, requiring multi-levels of identity verification and putting needless bureaucracy in the way of legal conduct and speech. As a result, sex workers are losing income and stability. When sex workers are pushed off digital platforms, they're forced to more dangerous and more onerous means of survival, the organization cautioned. This is the truth. What you're doing, you're saying, well, we're protecting the children, we're protecting women's rights, we're protecting this and that. No, you're sending these workers right back to the pimps, the dark web organizations that basically have been stealing information from people as you're redirected to those sites that will clog up your computer, clog up your phone without you knowing. These are the situations that need to be remedied by the courts, and these people that have been pushing this need to be put in their place when it comes down to this. Stop bending the knee to these minuscule. I don't care how much money billionaire Bill Ackerman is throwing at you. If he wants you to violate the Constitution, he's not going to be there when the courts come knocking on your corporate door. Mastercard, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase. Remember that. These people, Morality and Media, Exodus Cry, and many others, they're not going to be there to protect you when you have the Supreme Court and many other court systems come knocking on your door. Now you have if the Federal Trade Commission does what it's supposed to be doing, they should be knocking on your door soon. They should be filing writs of lawsuits against you, fining you for what you're doing. You're going to end up losing money. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you have your company become political. As Bud Light, as Target, as all these companies that went in the direction of politics and decided to basically stab their customer in the back by going in this direction because they think, oh, they're helping this particular group or that particular group. No, you're basically not. You're not at all. You're violating freedom of speech. Plain and simple. We have a constitution in this country. If you don't agree with it, go move somewhere else. Because I guarantee you go somewhere else where the Constitution is not available, you're going to find yourself a very unhappy person. Because those things that you're trying to tell other companies, you can't do that in other countries. You can't do that. Because a lot of those companies are controlled by the government. Especially places like China and North Korea. You can't do that shit. You can't pull that shit there. But who am I to say but a man with the show?
Thanks for watching. Before you go, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe as it helps us increase the reach of our channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help fund this and many other channels. If you wish to help grow this channel by financial support, you have two ways. There are two links below. One link will send you to a direct pay site where you can make a donation. The second link will send you to our gear store where you can purchase t-shirts, mugs, and other specialty items. Any additional discounts will be listed on the main page. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.